Hey everyone, Rabbitearsblog here, and before I get into my movie review of Casper, I just wanted to point out about how I'm going to do my videos during the holiday months. Since it's October, I'm going to start doing movie reviews that deal with Halloween like Hocus Pocus and the Casper films, just to spice things up with my reviews a bit. So if there are any horror movies or Halloween themed movies that you want me to review, please feel free to comment below, and I will put the movie on my movies to review for October list, and hopefully I'll get around to the requested films. So without further ado, here's my movie review on Casper. Casper was a live-action comedy film that was made in 1995 and was based off the Harvey comics and the cartoon series. It was also the first live-action movie to introduce a CGI character, since at that time, CGI animation was a new star in the animation genre. Now, before I get into what I liked and hated about this film, I would like to give a brief summary on this film. The film started off with the greedy Harris Kerrigan Critigan, played by Kathy Moriarty, inheriting a spooky manor called Whipstead Manor after her father died. However, once Kerrigan and her bumbly assistant Dibbs, played by Eric Idle, find out that there is treasure in the manor, they try to get the treasure only to discover that there are ghosts haunting the manor. In order to get rid of the ghosts, Kerrigan and Dibbs decided to contact Dr. James Harvey, played by Bill Pullman, who is a ghost therapist, who also has a daughter named Cat Harvey, played by Christina Ricci. And once Dr. Harvey and Cat enter the manor, Cat starts making friends with Casper the Friendly Ghost, while Dr. Harvey tries to deal with the ghostly trio, Stretch, Fatso, and Stinky. Growing up on the Casper the Friendly Ghost cartoons, I was actually excited to hear that there was going to be a movie based off the beloved cartoons, and after I saw this movie, I was definitely not disappointed with the results. Casper was definitely one of those ghost films that don't play on the idea about using ghosts just to haunt people. Instead, we get a ghost movie that actually focuses on the subject of death, and how it affects those who have lost their loved ones, even though the ghostly trio provided a few scares in this movie. I love the way that the film approached the issue of death, as we see how Casper is trying to understand about being a ghost, and the scenes where he tells Cat about how he didn't remember his life before he died were truly moving, since it could be a scary thought to anyone about not being able to remember what your life was like after you reach a certain age. Probably my most favorite line that regarded Casper trying to understand about death was when Cat asked him what it was like to die, and Casper answers, like being born, only backwards. This line was so memorable to me because it asked the question about what it is like to die, and you have to wonder to yourself that if you die, would you be reborn as a ghost, or is it like being born again except that now you are in a different place from where you were when you were living? I love the fact that this line was simple, as it doesn't really explain where you would end up at if you died, since it's left to the audience's interpretation of death, and everyone has different opinions regarding death. I also love how Casper's experience with death ties in with Dr. Harvey losing his wife and how it affected Cat herself. It was interesting seeing Dr. Harvey trying to find his dead wife, Amelia, in the afterlife, and how Cat relates to Casper about how she still remembers her mother after she died, which was a truly moving scene for me, since it proves that Cat's love for her mother was very strong. What I really enjoyed about this movie was how Cat and Casper's relationship with each other was developed. I like the fact that at first Cat was scared of Casper because he was a ghost, but as the film goes on, Cat starts to become good friends with Casper and also begins to understand his situation on dealing with death since she lost her mother the same way. Cat and Casper's relationship with each other felt genuine and sweet to me, and I really enjoyed the scenes of them confessing their life stories with each other and treating each other like good friends. I also love Cat's relationship with her father, Dr. Harvey, even though it was a bit one-sided, but I'll explain about that later. Cat really cares about her father despite being upset with him whenever he moves from town to town since she can't really make any friends, and I love how Dr. Harvey also cares about Cat and tries his best to do what's best for her. The best part about this movie was James Horner's music, and ever since I had first watched this movie, I was just mesmerized by the beautiful soundtrack by James Horner. The soundtrack has a slight ghostly feel to it, as there is a choir that accompanies the music, and it really brings a very beautiful vibe to the movie. I really like the characters of Casper and Cat, as Casper is shown to be an enthusiastic young ghost who just wants to have a friend, and I found myself really sympathizing with his situation about being a ghost and not being able to have any friends because he's a ghost. Cat was another character that I truly care for, as she is sarcastic yet kind-hearted at the same time, and she was always willing to help Casper get through his struggles of being dead while being a good friend to him. Christina Ricci did a beautiful job with portraying Cat Harvey's character, as she has always been enthusiastic and dramatic with this role, and I love the facial expressions that Christina Ricci portrays every time Cat is scared or mad. I also love the humor in this film, as there were certain scenes where the action is a bit cartoony, such as the scene where Dr. Harvey meets up with the ghostly trio, and I like the often crude humor that the ghostly trio, Stretch, Fatso, and Stinky, brought to the film, as it made the film very hilarious to watch. Now, the things that irked me about this film were the fact that there were several different plots going on in this movie. For one thing, we have a plot line where Kerrigan, Crittenden, and Dibbs try to find the treasure of Woodstadt Manor, and then we have a plot where Dr. Harvey's trying to find his dead wife in the spirit world, and then we have a plot line of Casper becoming friends with Cat. It's like there are several different situations going on at the same time, and the problem with this is that we don't know which one of these plot lines is the main plot for the whole movie. There are movies where you have small events happening to the characters, but those small events usually leads to the overall plot of the story. I would say Casper tried to do that, but the plot jumps around so quickly that it's hard to keep up with what's really happening to the characters. Another problem I had with the movie was the character of Kerrigan Crittenden herself, as she doesn't seem to be much of a threatening villain of the movie. We know that her goal was to steal the treasure for Whipstadt Manor, but I felt that she could have done more as a villain, like manipulate Dr. Harvey into thinking that she saw his dead wife in the manor, and he just has to scare away the ghost to get to her, or maybe try to burn the manor down for her to be truly effective villain in this movie. Also, I felt that Kat and Dr. Harvey's relationship with each other was a bit one-sided, since there weren't many scenes with Kat and Dr. Harvey spending time with each other. Sure, there were a couple scenes where they are seen together and caring for each other, but I would have liked to see scenes of Casper talking to Dr. Harvey about being a ghost, or Dr. Harvey doing certain activities with Kat, like shop with her or discussing issues that a parent needs to discuss with their child. Casper is rated PG for mild language and thematic elements, which is an appropriate rating for this movie. Even though there is some language in this film, the thing about this movie that might concern most parents is the theme of death, and that might scare younger children who don't understand about the concept of death. Overall, I'm giving Casper an 8.5 out of 10, and I definitely think that this film was a bit underrated when it comes to good Halloween movies to watch. I took off a few points because the plot tends to jump around very quickly, and it was a bit difficult to figure out what the main plot of the movie was. But this was a really fun movie, and if you want to find a good ghost film for the whole family, then I would definitely recommend this movie since it's not too scary for little kids, and adults will love the jokes and the humor in this film. Also, if you're a huge fan of Casper the Friendly Ghost franchise, then this movie definitely won't disappoint you. It's good to note that Casper has several sequels, which included Casper A Spirited Beginning, Casper Meets Wendy, and Casper's Haunted Christmas. Hopefully I will also try to review those movies in the future October movies reviews. Well, that's my movie review on Casper, and be sure to stay tuned for more of my movie review videos. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.